What is poppin', squad? It's your boy Jesimein. Welcome back to another Division 2 Warlords of New York build video. Today I got a PvP/PvE build for you guys that I put together and I love it. I'm glad I'm standing right here in the firing range and it says AoE because that's really what it is. It is a status effect DPS build. It is going to be the ultimate combination of everything that makes this game crazy right now. And it's going to be extremely strong now, and it's going to be even stronger when they finally do nerf like the M1A and they nerf like the Patriot and like whatever else cheeses that are out there. Especially now that the meta's kind of shaky and people are kind of speaking up on it. This build is definitely going to be good, even if it gets hit in any direction, just because of the concept. Now, I'm going to separate. Usually, I do gameplay beforehand. I really wanted to get in depth with this build because I plan on really like using this build throughout the way, as long as things still work the way that they're going to work. I feel like I'm falling in love with this build because the concept, it just works for me. There's so much outplay capability with this build on timing and synergizing that it's going to take a little bit for me to explain for the people who are going to be watching. So if you're looking for a build that can pretty much do everything, literally, it can do everything, this is going to be a build for you. So without further ado, let's get it. So to start things off, we're going to be using the Fire Starter Specialization, and the reason is for two things. Obviously, the med kit, that is amazing. It's self-sustained. It's the best sustained med kit that there is. You would be crazy to not use it. And for the second reason, you do get burn duration as well as a burn when your armor breaks. So this is what's going to be the first step to outplaying. You're going to have to be able to know when you have this. You're going to be able to know when to push with it. People can't really sneak you too easily. In 1v1 situations, you really going to have to deal with them hip firing. That's it. That's probably the most thing. And obviously most people are going to be running it too. But it's definitely going to protect you in a lot of situations. The reason I chose to go with it is because it just counterplays so many things that this game has right now that's super hard to deal with, especially rifles. Rifles on hip fire is really trash. So when they're on fire, this is your chance to capitalize on burning them through their squishiness. And it does do a lot of damage over time. So get into that. That is why I chose this specialization. With this build, I would run it no other way. You need to double up on this flame because you are going to be walking around like Dragonfire. It's insane. So going into my weapons. Now, you can use whatever weapon you want. I just wanted to opt to go for as high base damage as possible. And I'm stopping myself from using the M1A because I know it's going to get nerfed. So I'm using the USC 45 ACP replica. You can craft this. I have damage to target out of cover on it, so that's some good multiplicative damage, and lucky shot just so I can be able to spam it. The reason is because it does enough damage to burn through somebody when they're stuck in place, when I use my foam, or when they're on fire. So when my armor breaks, they're going to be on fire, and also we'll get into this afterwards. So it doesn't really matter what weapon you use. I just found it to work the best with the rifle, only because the rifles hit so hard, and as of right now, Fox Prayer tailored towards that. Now, when this all changes, obviously, the weapons scheme will change, but the concept of the build is going to stay the same just right now as is. This is going to be the way to go. So secondary doesn't matter, and I have to actually change this right here. So for your pistol, you want to have a pistol with perpetuation, or you have a secondary perpetuation, because you do get 50% status effect damage and duration on the next status effect you apply. The only thing that kind of sucks is the holster kind of sets this off prematurely, but it's just good to have, period. So going to the build itself, this is where I can change it up, and this is where I'm kind of torn in between what I really want to do. I'm kind of addicted to having survivability, so I might end up putting a golden gear mask on instead and giving up the 21% damage to health, because you really don't need it. Health is squishy anyways, but it's just, you know, having the extra damage is it just helps in some situations. But I think I can give up the Hollow Man mask and probably get a golden gear, and it's probably gonna give me that armor regeneration. I can still get some weapon damage off it or put some armor. However I want to run it, I just think having that armor regen is super good when I'm running away, or when it's like a campy battle and I don't want to waste med kits. I can just get my armor back. It is kind of slow, but it's just enough to where if they keep camping, my health's always going up, so at some point they're gonna have to push. So that kind of feeds into the build, because if they push you, that's where you can control the pace of the fight. So that's why I have the Hollow Man, just for the damage, but I can change it for a golden gear. So going to my backpack, it's the Anarchist Cookbook. Obviously, this is the flame backpack for most people who know, because you get status effects as well as you're going to get Perfectly Wicked on here. This is going to be where I get a lot of my base damage from. Applying the status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 27 seconds. So that's pretty much up all the time if you're running a status effect skill, as well as if my armor breaks, or as well as we'll get into the holster in a moment. So pretty much it's just getting a status effect. I get status effects on the first piece of golden gear, which is really good, just using it for armor. And also obviously when I get a 2-piece, I can get that armor regen, which is really good too, because the tankier you are, the better with this build. Going into the chest piece, it's going to be an armadillo vest. It's going to be rolled with efficient. The reason is because efficient is extremely strong right now. It's definitely going to be carrying a lot of people. I think it's kind of overtuned with flame right now, but even if they nerf the med kit on the flame, I'll probably end up keeping it anyways, because it's still really good right now. It's just extremely strong. It's still the best survivability pretty much piece that you can have, period. You know, there's really nothing that you can add to DPS outside of efficient that's going to give you sustain immediately besides True Patriot. So that's pretty much why I'm going to run that. And for obvious reasons, I'm running Gila because I get that 5% total armor. On my mod slot, I got incoming repair, so when I do pop the med kit, it does go up. Or as far as I know, I mean, I just assume that's what it's doing. So that's pretty much it. Yes, you don't have to necessarily run it, but I think this is what really makes the build super strong when you get to push like that. So going down into the gloves, it's going to be the contractor's gloves. 10% LMG damage is unnecessary, but we don't care about that. We're going for that weapon damage and damage to armor, 11%, which is really strong in this game. So they're going to end up tuning this. I'll end up changing it for something else as well. But as of right now, it's just the best in slot as far as damage. So just having this on there just because. And the same thing with Fox Prayer. These two you're going to see on most DPS builds that are smart anyways, because it's just no point in running anything else unless you have some kind of gimmick with it. But this makes more sense for my build because it does give you 10% rifle damage as well as damage to target out of cover, and I also got lucky with some headshot damage on there as well. Going into the holster, so this is where the build kind of tailors off. People know how strong this is right now. Imperial Dynasty Exotic Holster. So it says, while in combat, applies burn to the enemy supposed to be closest to you within 20 meters. And the cooldown is 40 seconds. And I've heard word around the block that you do get a shorter cooldown if you do have skill haste. I left mine as is. It doesn't really matter. It works. Fights are usually like 2 to 3 minutes anyway, so I get about 2 to 3 procs with this, and it does make or break situations where either it burns them when you're low and you get to get around the corner to pop a med kit and be unkillable and get to push, or sometimes it pops when they're low health and they're trying to run away. They can't sprint now. You can kind of gun them down, or if they're like one shot and it procs and it just finishes them. There's just so much things that it can protect you with. It stops people from ADS beaming you. It's just amazing. It's just one of the strongest pieces of gear in the game because of just how consistent it is, and we all know how annoying fire is. You really have to just hit fire, and if you're at mid range, that's pretty much like disarming you for however long, depending on what hazard protection you have, how long you're on fire. So this synergizes perfectly with the signature fire starter because you get the burn duration as well as when my armor breaks, that procs them for another fire. And obviously, as you can see, what happens is as they break my armor, they catch on fire. When they don't catch on fire and they get out, another 10 seconds, they catch on fire from the Dynasty holster. Then from that, by that time, my armor thing is restarted, and it just pretty much cycles between these two, and they're almost burned for most of the fight, as well as if you have something on the side, like I use Riot Foam to keep a person in place to get that quick little burst on somebody pushing, or if I need to get around a corner and pop a med kit, I'll like shoot that on the ground real quick. You don't really have to aim it, just shoot it near them. They'll be stuck in place. Usually people don't have their finger on the escape key that they're using or whatever button, and it gives you just those vital seconds you need in order to pop something, in order to get off. So for me, I think that this combo with 2 different cycles of flame, as well as getting a free 18% damage that does reset every 27 seconds, as well as the nice base damage that you get from a rifle, alongside being able to foam somebody and having a defender just to tank some more bullets, you have a crazy never-ending cycle where they're either burned from breaking your armor, which puts them on fire, which means you can get away to pop a med kit, or you can put them in a situation where they can't shoot you, when you can foam them if they do push you to give you more time to pop a med kit, or for your teammates to beam them, or for you to beam them. And if they run even anywhere within 20 meters of you that they catch on fire, it's just a non-stop threshold for people to have to deal with that most builds aren't made for, right? So in a team situation, it's good. In a solo situation, it's even better. And what I say by even better is you really feel the difference because you see how much your build is doing in a fight. And it definitely does change the pace of the game for a lot of people. So that's pretty much it, you guys. That is the build. I want to have like a full gameplay video just to show you guys how powerful the synergy is. It is extreme synergy. Like this is one of my most like high tier synergy builds ever, because of just how constant the hazards that other players have to deal with when they're fighting it. Really, the only thing you can really do is probably luckily two-tap me with a rifle, or obviously true pestilence it, and then that's pretty much it. Most other builds will fall under it and be overwhelmed by all the unnecessary things that they have to deal with. So that's it. I love you guys, man. Like I said, I know people are saying, where's the gameplay? I promise you, I'm going to be trying to make a whole video just for the gameplay, just so you can get it and see it in depth in all the situations. I don't want to just cram it and make like a 20-minute long video. I just want you guys to get the build. So if you guys do have the pieces put together, just go into DZ and go PvP and you tell me what happens. That's all I'm going to say. Just make sure that you use the synergy right. You time your cooldowns, you burn when they're burned, you push, you do everything. So that's pretty much it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Smash the like. Let me know what you guys think about this. It is basically a status effect DPS build. I can't word it any other way. Do you guys think that it's just a really good build? Do you guys think that's something to get tuned? What would you change? What would you add? Let me know. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. It's been real. Your boy is out.